Hi, my name is Dr. Caxton Opere, President of Divorce Prevention Ministries. Today I want to share with you a little bit of an introduction into female sexual arousal. As you know, sexual intimacy is a major issue in many marriages, and it's a cause of crumbling marriages all around the world. Most people understand that sex is important, and we won't emphasize that anymore, at least not on this video. But very few understand female sexual arousal, and that misunderstanding is responsible for many complications, one of which is separation, pain, confusion, and disappointment. Eventually, a divorce can occur as a result of this lack of understanding. But here's what the Bible says. Proverbs 19 verse 2, that the soul be without knowledge is not good. And the Bible also says concerning the woman that the husband has to dwell with her according to knowledge. So here we go. First of all, sexual intimacy is the first thing that the Bible tells us or expressly explains to us in Genesis 2:24 concerning the dynamics of the relationship between a man and a woman. In other words, for this cause shall a man leave his father and his mother and be joined to his wife, and they twain shall be one flesh. Sexual intimacy therefore becomes an extremely important thing for men. When God created man, man was not created ideally for relationships. Most people don't know that. We were not created ideally for relationships. When we look at the origins of how we were created, God just created planet Earth, put man as CEO. He was independent, supposed to be, but God felt that there were some things missing in the man, and he needed a woman in that garden to be with him. So Adam and Eve were not created at the same time. Adam was first created. He was supposed to rule over everything. But when a woman was put in his life, they now had to rule together. And you know how that's working out today. Without any well-informed base of knowledge in handling relationships, most men are going to suffer a lot of pain. And so will most women. When it comes to the three major issues that are destroying marriages today, the first is money, the second is sex, and the third is children. I won't go into the details about the other five. We're going to be talking about those at the next conference, Marriage Madness. You're going to see how it's insane not to know about these things concerning money, sex, children, in-laws, education, etc. But today, let me limit it to this: female sexual arousal. A man must understand how a woman is aroused. You see, men are aroused in a linear fashion. When they're exposed to a sexual stimulus, they experience excitement, which leads to physical arousal. Arousal may lead to what? Intimacy and intercourse. And during intercourse, an orgasm may occur. And as they plateau out, before and after an orgasm, they go into a resolution phase. So you could draw a graph, as I mentioned and showed in my book, Female Sexual Arousal and the Pink Pill. It's like going up a hill, driving a few miles on the plain land, on the flat land, going up a little bump, coming down the bump, going back on the flat land, and going downhill again. It's that simple. That's the description that was given to us in 1966 by Masters and Johnson about how arousal occurs. In other words, when a sexual stimulus approaches a man and he's excited, he's aroused, that's like going up the hill. When he engages in intercourse, he has a plateau phase. And during orgasm, he goes up a bump, comes down, and then flats out again and goes into resolution phase. Now, it's similar for women, but not identical. What's missing is that women, unlike men, when they are aroused, so many other factors come into play. Their hormonal status, whether they're pregnant, whether they're menstruating, how they felt in the morning, how they felt in the afternoon, how they're feeling right now. Whereas a man, once he's aroused sexually, how he feels about other things, his bills, his disappointments, the fact that he's just been kicked off the job. All those things won't matter. But for women, all those things will come into play. That's the first. The second thing you need to know is, and most men don't know this. In fact, a lot of men are in jail because of this ignorance. A man goes from sexual stimulus, approaching, leading to excitement, arousal, orgasm, plateau, resolution. A woman at any point in time during arousal can say stop. In other words, women can apply the brakes at any time along that sexual cycle. That's number one. Men cannot apply those brakes once they begin to engage. They must get to the orgasm. And unfortunately, if you're dating a woman who just feels she's got to go home or she's not sure if this is the right thing, the man can insist, and that's where you hear of what? Rape or date rape. At the end of the day, the woman can report the man, and the man is accused of rape. He ends up in jail. So you must understand this female sexual arousal thing very well. Not just if you're single, which may end you in jail, because when a woman accuses you of rape and there's evidence that you raped her, no one is going to ask you any other questions. You're going to jail. But in the marriage itself, when a husband understands a woman, and I'm going to use these two stories of two attorneys, one in LA, Los Angeles, California, and one in New York. They're both identical twins, these ladies, beautiful, successful, both attorneys. And the one in LA, the husband jumps in bed, gets into bed at 9 o'clock. Both lawyers have a case in court the next day. The first woman, the one in Los Angeles, is in the bedroom, going up and down, going through her opening and closing, memorizing facts about the case. And the husband says, come on, get into bed. We need to go. I need to sleep. Let's get going. And the wife says, I'm not getting going anywhere. I have to study this case because I have a big case tomorrow and I have got to make sure that I got everything in place. And the man is mad. He turns his back. He goes to sleep, angry. Now, guess what? The lady is now saying, okay, he's angry, good for him. She goes to the living room and stays up for another 2 or 3 hours, comes to bed around midnight. Next day, there's tension. And the tension continues for the rest of the week, the entire week. Now, back down in New York, and New Yorkers might be happy about this, this other lady, the twin sister, is in New York. She also has a case the next morning, a class action lawsuit, a big case involving one major car manufacturer. And so she knows she has a really big case. And I want you to look at the story carefully because it's going to help you understand how women really operate. So she comes into the bedroom. They say twins behave alike sometimes even when they're thousands of miles away from each other. So the twin sister in New York also comes into the bedroom around 9 o'clock with her notes. The husband is in bed thinking that she's done enough of the work, she's going to jump in bed with him. But she doesn't do that. But guess what the husband does? Husband says, are you coming into bed? She says, oh no, because I have this case. And she used the exact same words that her twin sister in Los Angeles used. And tension developed. So what did the husband do? The husband said, honey, tomorrow for your court case, that gray pinstripe suit that I bought you for your birthday last year, anytime you wear that suit, you look so awesome. I can't keep my hands off of you when I see you in that suit. And you know what? It brings out everything about you. And guess what? The lady just said, sure, you're kidding me? She dropped her notes and went to bed immediately. Now you tell me, you as a normal human being, which would you rather have? Of course, it's the second one. And the point here that I'm making is this. Women are not stimulated sexually by physical as they are by emotional triggers. The second lady, the twin sister, received an emotional trigger that resonated deep within her. And she what? She was all prepared. So was the other twin sister in LA. But the LA sister did not get an emotional trigger to bring her into the bed. The one in New York got an emotional trigger that got her into bed. And what we're saying, and what I'm trying to conclude for you on this video, on this particular video, is this. Women respond to an emotional trigger for sexual intimacy to occur far more than they will a physical trigger. Not even a threat will make a woman, and you don't argue with a lawyer. You know that? So the husband in LA realized to argue with his wife will be a no-no, and it will not get them anywhere. So they leave their tension until the weekend when they both called themselves and spoke about this, and the husband and the other husband spoke to each other, and they described their weeks. Of course, the husband in New York had a beautiful week because he had a wonderful time, while the husband in LA had a bad week, he felt, because nothing happened in bed, and the wife and himself had to come home over the weekend and discuss what happened all week. Instead of enjoying themselves, they argued and argued and argued. I don't know how that's going to end. But here's Dr. Caxton Opere, and what I'm telling you is find an emotional trigger that will make your wife be willing, intimately, successfully, and enjoyably. You should have the best marriage that you can have because God designed it to be that way. God bless you. Dr. Caxton Opere, Divorce Prevention Ministries. Thank you for watching. My website is www.drcaxton.com, and if you want to learn more about female sexual arousal, get the book. Just go to amazon.com, Google my name, you'll find a whole lot of things that can be helpful to you. I'm going to show the book to you. The book is